It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 5. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, November 6, 2022. It's a great day. Thank you for being here. It's raining outside right now, so if you hear a very tranquil pitter-patter of rain in the background and you're extra relaxed and feeling great, you can thank me and you can thank the weatherman, because that's what's going down out there. I've turned the gain up on the mic as much as I can, and I'm just ready to do this thing, so I'm going to record anyway. So, like I said before, Dep Lewis Show podcast is in a very large commercial studio with very high-level expensive equipment and highly trained engineers and people on the job. So this is a very large operation, and we can only do so much. So that's our excuse. We can do all that, but a little bit of rain will slow us down. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I'm going to start off with all the most important things that everyone needs to do, and you need to make everyone that you know do. You need to follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. If you see Dep Lewis Show somewhere, you need to follow it. And it's me, and it's going to be great content on there. So Dep Lewis Show everywhere. You need to like, you need to subscribe, you need to rate, you need to review, you need to turn on notifications, and you need to tell a friend. And then you also can email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. So that is your forever homework, your forever job. You can tell people you have a second job because it is doing these things. Dep Lewis Show everywhere. So thank you. I appreciate all the support and all the views and all the listens and everything that you're doing out there. You can catch full episodes of Dep Lewis Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Patreon, Buzzsprout, and Buzzsprout has links to a few other options for listening to podcasts if you so choose. There's also clips on YouTube and TikTok. The TikTok clips have been doing really great since I've been putting gameplay footage. It's been really fun to capture the footage with the Elgato and make clips out of the podcast. So I think that's definitely going to continue in the near future here. I'm going to be uploading those clips each week with some cool gameplay footage. And everything's been going pretty great. Notes from last show. Since I am a new podcaster, this is episode 5, so I've done this 5 times now. I'm trying to listen back to myself, which is sometimes painful, and give myself some feedback, some criticism. So some things, or just clear some things up that I couldn't remember. So this isn't all bad. This is sometimes just an informative section. So just a note to the large user base out there and fans out there. I'm no longer using SoundCloud to upload full-length episodes of the podcast. As I'm saying this right now, I'm thinking maybe I can put some clips up there, even though SoundCloud doesn't have video. But for the most part, I'm not going to be using SoundCloud right now. It requires a subscription to upload as much content as I was needing to. So I feel like this podcast is available on enough platforms at the moment as a like I said, it's a highly successful, but it's a free podcast. So this podcast isn't just made of money out here, even though it appears like we are. So we're no longer using SoundCloud. If that ever becomes an issue in the future, I will definitely subscribe to SoundCloud. But I think for right now, starting up, I have my content on enough pages. So just letting you know that no hate on SoundCloud. They have I think it's their pro tier that lets you upload unlimited amounts of things, but it's basically as much as I'm paying for the podcast hosting service each month. So I don't really want to double that up right now. So that's some inside baseball, some TMI for you probably, but maybe it's interesting. Another correction from last show, Cult of the Lamb is the game I was thinking about that had Twitch integration. I think this was one of the first times I heard about Twitch integration, so that's why it's stuck in my mind. But even from last week of just watching content of people, it seems like Twitch integration seems a little more common of a thing than I was thinking. But still, I couldn't recall that last week, so that was the game I was thinking of, Cult of the Lamb, which is a really cool game. God of War Ragnarok release date is Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. So that's the official release date for God of War Ragnarok, $69.99 on next-gen consoles. I believe it, or I know it does still come to PS4 as well, and I believe that copy is $10 cheaper. The old standard price is at $59.99. Some Panthers talk, Carolina Panthers. I was wondering how to pronounce Mr. Hubbard's name, and I believe it's Chuba. So Chuba Hubbard is how he'll be known to me going forward. Shout out Chuba. I hope he's back to play today. I know he's been a little banged up. The Panthers podcast that I check in on sometimes is called the C3 Panthers Podcast. Seems to be pretty good for some Panthers information. They seem to be streaming and putting up content a good bit, so it's fun to check in on them for some Panthers content, which I do like. And the last note from last show is that I confirmed that there are no features on What a Time to Be Alive with Future and Drake. So that whole album, that joint collab album, is just Future and Drake. That's just a note from last show. And we're going to get into it today. Today we're going to talk about some things I've been playing, some things I've been seeing, and the last section is going to be some miscellaneous talk for your earlobes. So I hope you're going to enjoy it. And we're going to start off today by talking about how it's possible to even do this podcast. I just wanted to shout out and highlight a few things that I'm using to make this podcast happen. It's been fairly easy to do, so I wanted to give that information out to anybody that might need it. I'm using GarageBand is the recording software that I'm using, and editing software. So GarageBand is on Mac, and I'm using a microphone and a filter. So that's something else you'll need. I think the filter is pretty crucial. I'm still working with my audio setup, but I think the filter has improved the sound quality of the episode for the last few. I have a Buzzsprout subscription, so that's for podcast hosting. So Buzzsprout allows you to upload your audio content on there, and it'll post it out to the directories within 24 hours. So you can input all the details for your episode on Buzzsprout, and then it'll automatically populate it into Spotify and Apple and the other podcast platforms that are available on there. And Buzzsprout will charge you based on how much you're uploading in a month. So there's different tiers for, if you're going to upload an hour, going to do 3 hours. I don't know if those are exactly what they are, but that's how their price structure works. So you have to kind of know how much you're uploading each month, and then you can pay for that tier. And then there's also an add-on option they call it magic mastering, but I guess they just do some magic back-end stuff that makes the podcast sound a little bit better. So I'm giving myself all the help and assist I could use right now. So I've been paying for that magic mastering. I know when you record an album, just from hearing people talk about it, that you have to get it mixed and mastered at the end. So I guess that's probably like an automated way of doing it for the masses. So they're probably offering me some program or tool they use that they're able to make it sound a little better. So I appreciate Buzzsprout. They've been really easy to use. I feel like it's sort of affordable. I've had to up my tier since I've even started this podcast, because I've been recording more. I've been uploading more hours than I thought. But I believe there's other options out here, but Buzzsprout, I don't know why that's the one I went to, but it probably just came up quickly on a search or something. But I would definitely recommend Buzzsprout. They seem great. Another thing for my podcast, I bought the Elgato, and that allows me to capture video footage, which I think is going to be kind of crucial, especially for posting clips of the podcast. So the whole idea there is to have a clip of the podcast where I'm talking about something, and then put some gameplay from the week where I was playing behind it and post those as clips to try to get people engaged with the full podcast, or even just to listen to the clips and like those, because that's perfectly good too. It's just another way for me to remix the content that I'm putting out and add a cool visual to it. And then another thing you'll need, especially with the Elgato, is an OBS account and a Twitch account. So I forget what OBS stands for, but it's something Open Broadcasting System, or something, I believe is what it is. And that just kind of allows you to set up your overlay for your stream or what you're recording. And it's kind of like the middleman to the process, but it works very seamlessly. Has a lot of options on there. It's very customizable, but it's also very simple to use if you don't really want to mess with it too much. So OBS, and then you need your Twitch account if you're going to stream out somewhere, because Twitch is pretty huge and a great place to stream your games and watch games. And then the last thing I needed was some music for my intros and my outros and my transitions. So you need some music for your podcast or something. And if you have a good friend named Volness, check him out on SoundCloud, then you can get some great music. So those are the things I'm using for my podcast: GarageBand, microphone and filter, a Buzzsprout subscription, Elgato, OBS and Twitch account, and music from a friend, and my friend's Volness. So pretty simple and easy to do. You just have to obviously just keep doing it. So that's what we're doing here. So that is my podcast set up. So we're going to get into what I've been playing now. And that's the main thing of this podcast. What are the video games that I've been playing? What have I been liking? What's been fun out there? And we're going to start off. We got a lot going on this week. I've purchased some games. I've played some games in my backlog. And we're going to talk about them all. But we're going to start with some quick hitters. We're going to talk with a game called Splatoon 3. This is a game that is still game of the year for 2022 for the Dep Lewis Show. It is like in a Usain Bolt lead over the other games. It is looking back at them saying, catch up. You guys are slow as hell. Are you guys even moving your feet? What the hell are you doing? This is Splatoon 3. We are in the lead. We are getting the gold. We are setting the records. This game is awesome. And this is definitely still the game of the year. I think I just got ranked 7 on my new profile. I've been playing those turf wars. I'm getting ready for the Splatfest coming up, 11/11 to 11/13. It's Pokemon themed, grass, fire, or water. I'm going to decide right now what I'm going to use. Grass, fire, or water. Grass, fire, water. Grass, fire, water. We are going to go with grass. Because people want us to pick fire. In Pokemon Sword last, we picked water. So we were going to throw a curveball, and we're going to pick grass. That's going to be the ultimate Dep Lewis Show Splatfest category. So yeah, go play Splatfest. I guess that's going to be next weekend, so I'm going to be playing some of that. It's very fun. It's just it's an added layer to the normal fun of the game. So it's very exciting. I like that it's a limited time thing. Add some cool stuff to the game. Adds a little spice. Some fun shit to talk online about it and look at. And it's always fun to be on the winning team if you can be so lucky. So if you want to be on the grass side of things, that's where the Dep Lewis Show will be hanging out. And we're going to be trying to get some W's. So Splatoon 3, just shout out to you. I see myself playing some more of that this week, and I'll just keep giving you some updates as we go. Vampire Survivors is another game that I really, really love. I've only played a little bit of that this week too, but I wanted to highlight that it comes out on Xbox consoles November 10th. It's coming to Game Pass as well, so if you have Game Pass on November 10th, you can download that thing and play the hell out of it. It's also $4.99 to purchase outright, so this is a rare conundrum of a game that costs less than a Game Pass sub. So this one, if you have interest and you don't have Game Pass, you might just want to buy the outright copy. But you could also argue that paying for the month sub of Game Pass will get you access to other games that will add value, but it's probably kind of a moot point. Vampire Survivors can stand on its own, and it's just a very nice added benefit that's in Game Pass. So either way, I think you should play that game. I could see myself playing some more of that this week. I haven't really stopped playing it. It's just kind of a consistent, play it for a little bit here and there kind of thing for me. And that is why it is going to be a very top contender for Games of the Year for the Dep Lewis Show 2022. Another game that I just wanted to mention that is on my docket of games. This is my main story game right now. This is a game that I will continue and that I have to finish. Or you can email me and call me a noob at DepLewisShow@gmail.com. That is God of War 2018. I started this game at the end of the prior week. I have not made any progress this week because I've been playing some other stuff, and I bought a few games this week. But God of War, I'm still on the hype train. I've been seeing all the Ragnarok talk out there. I've been kind of willingly listening to it, even though I haven't finished this game. And they'll say they're talking about spoilers. No one's talking major spoilers yet that I've heard on like main platform podcasts, but they're kind of talking around things and then giving big warnings and letting people know. But I haven't heard anything that would ruin my experience, and I'm in no giant hurry to finish 2018, but I plan on doing it. But the things I've been hearing, I was listening to Min-Max podcast. Janet Garcia was saying this could be one of her favorite games ever, so that was a pretty high take on it. Kyle was saying that he thought it was good, but he wasn't giving as much praise as Janet. And then all the while, Ben Hansen's over there just like dying to play this. He was even wondering if he should be in on the spoiler-free discussion of this because he wanted to have all the information for it. But Janet makes it sound like the story is a huge highlight to this game. I think she said there was 10 emotional parts in the game to her. So I mean, that's a lot of emotions. She said she wasn't fully crying because she was trying to act tough, but she was saying the mist was forming in her eyes during this game multiple times. So that's kind of cool to hear. She was describing the story as being like an epic, like an epic odyssey or whatever, like of these gods. So it sounds pretty cool story-wise, if it could be a really great story. But then I also heard, I've been hearing really great things overall, that's what I would say, but I've also been hearing a smattering of critiques on this, or people not being so high. And an example of that would be the Nextlander podcast. Vinny kind of seemed down on God of War, and so did Ragnarok, and so did Alex. Both said it was hard to keep up the steam of wanting to play. I believe Vinny was around 24 hours in the game already too. They just said it wasn't grabbing them that much. They mentioned Atreus being a punk, and Kratos is basically just trying to protect him and keep the peace between things. they did highlight some story things and some character things that sound cool. They mentioned Brock and Sindri have a larger role, and I like the idea of that, but I don't know if I want to say more of the same, because people love 2018, but that's kind of the vibe they were giving. It's kind of more of the same, and I think a lot of people were surprised by 2018's God of War, so this game's losing that surprise element. But I don't know, you're going to have to see for yourself, and you can see for yourself very, very soon on the 9th. Yeah, November 9th, 2022, you can play that Ragnarok. And the only negative I could say about Ragnarok that I've seen is that damn commercial, that cringy and terrible commercial I saw this week that has Ben Stiller, John Travolta, and LeBron James and their kids on it. I got no gripes with any of the actors or those people, but this commercial was not it. They were having a group therapy session where Ben is Kratos and he's teaching LeBron and Travolta how to manage their parent-child relationship like Kratos does with Atreus. And I don't know, the Ben Stiller outfit looked funny, but that commercial was ridiculous, and I couldn't believe the commercial kept going on. It felt like a long commercial, which is I don't think it's a good sign if you're watching it being like, is this really still going on? It was just, they were kind of making cringy jokes, and I don't know. The reason I'm talking about it here on a very popular public podcast, so they're getting some promo out here in these streets for free, and I'm sure other people have been talking about it too, but that commercial is terrible. There's definitely something cooler they could have done, and it would be interesting to know by their metrics if they think it's successful or if it worked out well for them. I don't think Ragnarok's going to have any problem doing sales, but I wonder if there's any way to equate the impact that this commercial has on the success of the game. I don't know if that's even possible because of the mammoth franchise that God of War is. I think it pretty much speaks for itself, but if you want to see something terrible, and maybe if you like God of War 2, that's a commercial to watch for you. But that thing was not good. But shout out to God of War. I can see myself playing some more of that this week. I'm going to let you guys know how my progress goes on that. And I got to make some progress because that is my main story game right now. That is the Dep Lewis Show official story game of right now. So I got to get through that. So I need to find some time to play that this week. But something else that I've started playing, that I have started previously, but I had to restart. Like most of these games I'm playing, I'm restarting on a Dep Lewis Show profile. And this is actually a game that I just bought on the Switch because I wanted to have it on the Switch. The Dep Lewis Show might be relocating headquarters soon. So there's a chance that I could be doing some more traveling, which would be a great time to be using my Switch. So I decided that I need to use my Switch more so than I've been doing for, buying like indie games and just things that run well on the Switch that could be nice to have in handheld or while traveling. So I decided to buy the Cult of the Lamb on the Switch. Picked up a copy of that because it's a great game and I highly endorse it. After starting on the Switch, I just miss... You can tell I had the PS5 version, and you can tell it just runs a little worse than the PS5 version, but it's very fun. I miss the rumble in the PS5 controller specifically because it's really, really good. But still, I've already feel like I've gotten used to the Switch version, and being able to have it handheld and take it with me is, kind of takes away that one little negative that I'm mentioning. But I've been this go around, I've been naming my cult members after podcast host. I don't think I've come across any women so far, but I got Bert and Tom, I got Ari, I got Bobby Lee, and I got Santino running around. So those are my cult members right now. And of course, my cult is named the Dep Lewis Show Cult. So it's the best cult in the land. Definitely the best one I've ever created. Definitely the best one you've ever seen or heard of. So I'm sure you'll be hearing more about that as time goes on. And I'm really enjoying playing this game again. It's fun having it on the Switch. I'm putting the shrine, the altar, the beds, the farm. I'm putting them in way different places than I did last time. Just trying to make it feel different. I'm playing this on easy, and I'm starting to own the battles. I don't know if the battling is easier on Switch by chance, because maybe it's like I don't know. I don't know if it's like the visuals feel slower and I'm having to be more deliberate with my hits, or it's making me be more conscious of it, but I feel like I'm pretty sure I was playing on easy on my other profile, but maybe I'm just being a little bit smarter at this game of doing your smacks and doing your rolls, because that's really all you gotta do, and then you can hit your range too. So it's been really fun. I'm going to continue playing Cult of the Lamb, and I'll continue updating you on that. Could possibly even stream this game at some point. But this is a game that's going to stick around for me. It's really fun. I just kind of got back into my new profile. I've had a few Had maybe just a couple sessions playing this since I've downloaded it on Switch, and I highly recommend that game. I could recommend that game pretty easily to you. But the new heavy hitter for this week, the reason for other games not getting played, something last week that I was discussing that I could potentially buy, something that I usually buy, and that something is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Hooray for Call of Duty, it's back, and it's better than ever. I don't know if it's better than ever, but it's getting up there. I feel like the multiplayer is amazing. It is so much fun. I was talking last week about how I already kind of wanted this. This game came out on 10/28. I watched this week, during the middle of the week, I watched Jeff Gerstmann stream this game, and he was really high on it. He was saying he thinks it's better than the 2019 version already, which was a pretty highly revered Modern Warfare game. He was saying that he has 6 loadouts going right now, where in prior games he usually only has 1 or 2, and he was saying the reason for having 6 is because it's fun trying to get all different unlocks. So it's really kind of forcing you to play different ways to get the unlocks and the attachments and things like that. So that's pretty cool that the game's lending itself to that, to kind of a new playstyle for an old formula. The graphics on it look amazing. That's one thing I've noticed. I'm playing on the PS5. It looks really, really good. The reload on the M4. The M4 is the first assault rifle you get, and then clicking the magazine into the gun it just sounds so cool. I think they really, really nailed it. And also the multi-platform stuff is awesome. So this is, I don't know if this is even worth reporting these days because most games are doing it, but this is a game you can play multi-platform with your Activision ID across platforms. So that's just really cool for you playing on what console or platform you want to, and then being able to play with friends. And I have a couple friends, so I watched Jeff Gerstmann play this week, who I wish was my friend, but he was getting me hyped for it, and then one of my friends hits my main group chat and says, "Holy shit, I just got this Call of Duty and it's awesome." And that spawned 2 sales in the group chat right there, myself and my other friend. So I got a couple friends now that have this game, so I'm on this hype train as well. I hope to be playing some games with them, but I've been playing solo. Haven't really thought about playing the campaign yet, but that's kind of a good idea now having it. And it's been really fun. I really like the shotgun early so far. It's been fun. That's the secondary weapon on the main on the first class they give you, the assault class you can use. They have the M4, and then they have a shotgun. And I've now made my second custom loadout as a shotgun pistol combination. And I haven't been brave enough to try it yet, but maybe I'll play it at some point and try it out, because I think it would be fun. The shotgun, getting a kill with that thing is just so sick. It just drops them so quick. You get a couple shots in there. Like I said, the sound on it's so cool. The reload, the little bop bop bop. All the audio stuff in this game is so cool. The announcer, the sound of the headshot, all the pings on the screen, like they really nailed it. They've turned up the fun on the Call of Duty, or they turned up the Call of Duty-ness. They turned it back up to where everybody wants it with this game. And it just seems really fun, and I hope this will be a game that I'm playing for a long time and reporting on week to week. And some other things I like about it, there's a racetrack map that is really, really cool. It looks like you're on some high level big, I don't know if it's Formula One, but some giant race like that. And then this battle is broken out in between it. I heard someone mention that it's reminiscent of the Hitman map, and I think that's true, pretty cool too, and true. It's just a cool environment for some kill confirmed or some deathmatch. It's just really cool. The racetrack map is sick. And I just played, I think it was last night, I played a new map that I haven't played, and it was basically, it pits you on 2 different sides of like an abandoned highway with all these cars. So obviously I'm liking these car maps a lot, but that map was really fun, and it just seemed kind of like a giant tunnel, but it had enough going on in there to make it interesting. And there's only really one way they could flank you, but it was fun to play. So I hope I get to see that map some more and see if I really do like it that much. But I'm really liking some of the early maps. I have no complaints there. I really have no complaints in this game. It's seeming very, very cool. I wanted to talk about something. One of my notes when I got this game was, what does it take to get a MOAB or a nuke, a tactical nuke? This is something in the prior games I've never gotten, but I have a friend that used to get them all the time who was retired from the duty. He's put down his arms to live his life, as a retired 5-star general. He had so many mobs in active battle that they wouldn't let him battle anymore. They said, another man, a man shouldn't be able to handle this much destruction and stress on his mind. So they said, take it to the house. They said, sit your ass down, Bo. But I wanted to look up if there's an equivalent in this game to get a nuke. So I'm going to go down some history of this. The MGB nuke in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, that's the old Modern Warfare 2, is a kill streak that has the potential to end a match as soon as it's deployed. However, this sought-after ability is hidden and difficult to attain. Actually, sorry, that was a falsity. That was not true. The MGB nuke in Call of Duty is this game, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, 2022 version. The thing you want to try to get is called the MGB nuke. And this is a sought-after, it says it's a hidden and difficult to obtain, and I believe the difficult to obtain part is very true. So MGB nuke is what we're looking for in this new game, but nukes, or the hidden kill streak concept, isn't new to the series with Modern Warfare 2, and has been present since the original Modern Warfare 2, where it was called a tactical nuke. Now, that's what I was trying to get at. So the old game, it was called a tactical nuke. To achieve it back in the day, players had to go on a kill streak of 25 kills, or 24 kills with the hardline perk equipped. So you're having to get that many kills in a row without dying, and then something amazing happens. And then in the next Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3, it was called the MOAB. And that's the one my friend played and still talks about to this day. The MOAB is a massive ordnance air blast, and it's nicknamed Mother of All Bombs. And this was a hidden, same as 2. This was a 25 kill streak, 24 with hardline reward in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. But the teaser for the MGB nuke in the newest game, it now demands players to go on a streak of 30 consecutive eliminations without dying. I repeat, in the new game, you need to kill 30 enemies in a row without dying to activate this. Once you have fulfilled that requirement, the game will notify you on screen through the streak section. And once it is activated, the character will proceed to call in the nuke strike, and a 10-second timer will follow, alerting you of the MGB, or Mass Guided Bombs nuke. Post 10 seconds, a bomber will drop the nukes on the map, killing everyone in the lobby, including players and their allies, and the match will end with an immediate win in favor of the team that called the nuke. And you will live in eternal glory as the man who nuked the battle and won the Call of Duty match in the greatest of great fashions. So I can only hope, I can only pray, I can only wonder, I can only try, I can only strive to get 30 kills one day. And I can say with pretty much certainty, with about 99% clarity, with about 98% confidence that I will never get one of these. But I will maybe look up footage of one online. I may be on the receiving end of one of these one day, and I can tell you about that. So if you're looking for that kind of information in the future, you might get it. But that's just really cool. Really hard thing to obtain. I feel like my friend would get them kind of often though, back in the day. But he was really dialed into that game and kicking ass. But it wasn't like he was like a pro or anything. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see some MOABs. I guess it's probably good that they upped it to 30 eliminations. Just that's a pretty big jump from 24 or 25. That's adding 5 or 6 extra warriors in there getting smacked down. So I don't know. But Call of Duty's been awesome. I almost played some this morning before this podcast, and I'm going to play some today for sure because it's been really fun. So catch me out there on Dep Lewis Show. Dep Lewis Show on the Call of Duty on PlayStation. So you can catch me across platforms though. So Call of Duty, not regretting buying that at all. Very happy about it. I think Call of Duty is going to have to be in the top 10 for the year already, because I think I'm going to continue playing it. I think it's already of high enough quality. I have enough history with Call of Duty to know what I like about it, know what to expect. So we're getting some movers and some shakers here at the end of the year, trying to sneak in my list. Really trying to get a position on the most sought after list in the universe for video gaming. So shout out to Call of Duty, great game. The last game that I want to talk about today in the what I've been playing section is something that I have barely started. I just kind of started it to see the opening cutscene and to see what we get to, but that game is called Neon White. And this game was on sale for $19.99 on the Switch, so I picked it up. Kind of in the same vein of wanting to focus on my Switch a little more, and this has been a game that came out earlier in the year, June 16th, 2022, that I've been kind of dying to buy since it came out, so I finally just pulled the trigger and bought it. And this is a first-person shooter and puzzle platforming game. It was developed by Angel Matrix and published by Annapurna Interactive. And I'm going to have a wonderful clip for you today so you can see the intro of this game, but it looks really cool. I think this game is going to be on a lot of people's top 10 lists from what I'm hearing, and we'll see if it's going to jump onto mine. The opening cutscene is very anime. I was really kind of surprised by the initial narrator's voice I heard. That was really, really good. It was kind of up there with the Stanley Parable narrator, like the effect of how good that sounded. So that part was kind of unexpected. I don't know, just all the stylings of this game so far, and just the first few minutes of turning it on to get a clip look really, really cool. It's very anime. The main character, they declare that your name is Neon White, and you really just want to learn more about Neon White because he looks really, really cool. Very cool setup to the game, and it's puzzle platforming. I've seen people playing this game. It looks really cool, so I'm going to report more on this. There's a chance you could see some content on YouTube of this game at some point. There's a chance you could see a clip of this game at some point. There's a chance you could see me streaming this game at some point. And I got it on my Switch, so you could see me playing it out in public. Or at a rooftop party like all those Nintendo Switch ads wanted us to do back when they first came out. So catch me at a rooftop party near you playing my Switch. So that's what I've been playing this week. Let's think here. I can definitely see myself playing some more of all these games next week. So I got a lot going on. That's Splatoon 3. That's Vampire Survivors. That's God of War 2018. That's Cult of the Lamb. That's Call of Duty. And that's Neon White. My main story game out of there is God of War. My main multiplayers are Splatoon 3 and Call of Duty. And the other games are just stuff I would like to continue playing and making progress on here and there because they're really fun, exciting games that kind of are perfect for that, for jumping back in and getting some playtime. So I just want to shout out all those games, anybody who made those games, anyone who thought of those games, all the creators, all the workers. Thank you for these awesome games. Really can't believe it. Out of all these games, Splatoon came out this year, Vampire Survivors came out this year, Cult of the Lamb came out this year, Call of Duty came out this year, and Neon White came out this year. I'm sitting here talking about these games are probably going to get on my top 10 list. My top 10 list really needs to be reassessed because these things are fluid as hell. There's just games jumping in and out of the boat. So we're going to see who's on the boat by the end of the year. I'm going to be back with more games that I'm playing next week. And we are going to go to the second section of this podcast in just a minute. We're going to talk about what I've been seeing out there on the interwebs and in the universe for video games. So please, whatever you want to do for a break. Like I said, you can go give your dog a pet, go grab yourself a cold beverage, go heat up some food, go grab your Switch, put on a new video game, go sit outside, not here because it's raining. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Dep Lewis Show. This is episode 5, and this is the mid section. This is where we talk about what I've been seeing out there in the video game world. I believe the rain has stopped. The rain on the plane has stopped in the background, so hopefully that's a little better for your listening experience. Welcome back to the show. What I've been seeing this week, I got a few cool things to talk about. Let's see, I got something I've seen, that's something coming out, something that just came out, and then I got some cool information here. So we're going to start with a quick one. I saw Nextlander was finishing Elden Ring this week. This was Vinny's file, and this was their patron's choice for October 2022. And I just watched the beginning of this video because I was planning on watching it, but once I started, I realized that Vinny was going to clear out the remaining endings of the game. So he was going to upload his save to the cloud so we can go through all the endings and get all the trophies. So I didn't know there was multiple endings in this game. I'm nowhere near the ending, but I think it's pretty amazing that that's the case. And I kind of wonder, I think now thinking through it, it's probably more of a common thing with From Software games that they have multiple endings, but this has been the first one that I've ever really played a whole lot of, so I'm definitely a noob to the series in general. But I think you should go watch that, especially if you played Elden Ring. You can go see Vinny go through the different endings, and I believe he gets the platinum in that video. So go watch them on YouTube or subscribe to them on Patreon. And I just need to play more Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring's going to have a pretty nice spot on the Game of the Year list, even though I'm nowhere close to finishing it. Just because I respect that game so much, and it's something I would need to play more of and want to play more of, and it's so cool. It's just kind of intimidating of a game. But Elden Ring, I hold that in very high regard. And Nextlander's out there putting some good content on it, so shout out to Vinny for finishing it. That is really, really pro gamer like right there. So shout out. Another game I saw that I saw when I first saw this game, it looked very interesting and cool, and I just realized that we could be getting it kind of soon. So this game is called Pentiment. This is a murder mystery adventure game from Obsidian, and it's set in the 16th century Germany. So Pentiment, it's an Obsidian joint. It's headed up by Obsidian studio design director Josh Scheuer, and it puts you in the clogs of 16th century journeyman artist Andreas Mahler. So that's the protagonist of the game is Andreas. And the game's art style is a mix of late medieval transcripts, medieval manuscripts, early print, and woodcuts at the transition from late medieval to early modern art. So just this game is one of those things where you look at it and you don't know what you're looking at really. The art style to it is really cool. It does look like an old manuscript or, a medieval print, some early type of art. And this being an adventure game, and the art style and Obsidian's track record, it seems like it's going to be cool, whatever this is. You can pre-purchase it now for $19.99. Its release date is November 15th, 2022 for Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, Xbox Series S, and Xbox Series X. So sorry PlayStation, sorry Nintendo, you cannot play this joint yet, or maybe ever. This being an Xbox exclusive, this is a chance for Xbox to flex its exclusive muscle. Even though this is not a full-price game, a $20 game that could be successful and not on other platforms is a cool thing, and a nice showpiece for all that money Microsoft is spending acquiring these studios. So this is something that I may not have to pick up on day one, but I'll probably buy this game at some point. There's probably like a 98% chance I'll buy this game at some point, especially it being at the $20 price point and it looking really cool. I didn't look if this game was on Game Pass or anything, but I don't believe it is. But actually, that's probably a bad guess most of the time is to say it's not coming to Game Pass. But $20 looks like this game's going to be worth $20 from what I've seen. So if you're into that kind of thing, check for that on November 15th. It's called Pentiment. Very kind of, I don't know. I like everything I've been seeing about this game. Even the name of it, Pentiment. Just all the style of it. It just looks so cool. I think you should at least just go look at it, just for a frame of reference for this game. And even if you don't think you're going to be into a murder mystery, you should just go check this game out. It's just cool to see. Just thinking through it now, I kind of equate it to not like a direct correlation to the style of Cuphead, but even if you didn't end up playing a lot of Cuphead or whatever, I think you could look at Cuphead and appreciate the style of it. So I think I would put Pentiment in that category too without even playing it, just from the stuff I've seen. So I think that makes it a valuable thing. So Pentiment, game coming out on the 15th. Another game that just released, and I've been hearing a lot about this game. It's come up more than a few times on like podcasts or shows I've been listening to, enough where it made me look into it. And this game is called Marvel Snap. This is a CCG game you can play on your phone. It's free to play on Android, iOS, and Microsoft Windows. Ben Brode from Hearthstone notoriety is involved in this. I used to love Ben Brode from back in the day. I used to play a ton of Hearthstone, and Ben Brode was great. He would do like promotion videos for them, and he did. Plus more, but his like promotional videos for them were always really fun to watch. He would even have like sing songs, and he was just always fun to he would always accompany their announcements with himself in a fun way. So shout out to Ben Brode. Apparently he's doing great things over at this Marvel Snap game and bringing his touches there. It was released October 18th, developed by Second Dinner, and the description for this is the fastest card battler in the multiverse. Assemble your Marvel Dream Team in this action-packed 1v1 multiplayer collectible card game, coming to mobile and PC. And I've been hearing this is good, especially for Hearthstone fans, and then even more so if you like Marvel. So this sounds like this could capture some Hearthstone fans to switch over, and then if you're a Hearthstone fan that happens to like Marvel, then I think it's probably a home run. So I don't know if I'm going to try this game. I really do like Hearthstone a whole lot from back in the day, but I'm not actively playing it anymore. The great musician involved in this actually is still playing Hearthstone, so I need to mention this game to him. I don't think he has much caring for Marvel. I don't even know if he likes Marvel, but one of my other Hearthstone friends really does like Marvel, so I just need to bring this up to them and see what they think. But I've been hearing random people talk about this and talk about how fun it is, so maybe it is something I should try. I mean, I'm not big into Marvel, but I do like the way the characters look, and I like it enough. I've seen a lot of the movies, so maybe it would be cool, like in Hearthstone form, even just to be using those characters. So I don't know, but I'm just kind of surprised that I've been hearing about it. So Marvel Snap, I guess we'll probably keep hearing more and more about this, especially if it is doing well. I'll guarantee they'll support it, and Ben Brode being there makes it serious in my mind, just because he was, back there in Hearthstone's heyday. So Marvel Snap, that's a product out there that you can go download right now, and it is what you call free 99. I heard, I forget who it was, but they were talking about this game, and then they were talking about critiques of Hearthstone, about how they feel Hearthstone became pay to play, where if the new card set drops, or the new season comes into town, that you have to at least open 200 packs to be able to get the new net deck that's going to be able to succeed on the ladder. So I was thinking, I'm like, hey, maybe that's not all the way true, but there probably is some truth to that, and it would be something that you want to avoid in your game, from designing it or releasing it, but I don't know. So Marvel Snap's something I should probably investigate some more, and maybe you should too, but I wanted you to know about it. And the last thing that I've been seeing out there was an announcement this week. I guess it was an announcement for the pre-order, the price, and the release date possibly, but it was PlayStation VR 2. I've never owned VR, but this was a big announcement this week, and people were arguing over the price and discussing that, but this thing will be available February 22nd, 2023. So that is not too far off. That's only a couple months if you want this. You can register to pre-order now. If you're selected, Sony will contact you via email with the details. So it's like how they're doing all these pre-orders for consoles and things these days. They say with this product you can escape into worlds that feel truly real, as virtual reality gaming takes a huge generational leap forward. You will need a PS5 for this. You can have the disc or the disc-less version for this, doesn't matter. And the price of this PlayStation VR 2 is $549 US. So that is more than a PlayStation 5 console, which I heard someone point out, which is kind of crazy. Because they say that your console is doing the heavy lifting here because it has to be connected, but I don't know. I can't speak to any of the logistics of that, but I'm just telling you what the price is, and that it's more than a PlayStation 5. Not that I would maybe not pay it or think it's a bad price, but that is what it is. This thing comes with Sense controllers and stereo headphones. And then another little tagline of just some information I read that's kind of interesting. It says, Sony's latest VR hardware has a display resolution of 2000 by 2040 pixels for each eye, 4K HDR support, 110 degree field of view, and refresh rates up to 120 Hz. It will support 3D audio and eye tracking, while the Sense controllers borrow haptic feedback and adaptive triggers from the DualSense. I gotta say, the haptic feedback is pretty killer, and the adaptive triggers are pretty killer. And 3D audio, I just plugged in. I guess it's a Razer branded PlayStation headset. I can use it on my Xbox and Switch, so it wasn't a very expensive one, but I plugged it into my PlayStation 5 last night to play Call of Duty, and it brought up the option for 3D audio. So it lets you pick all these options for which one sounds best to your ears, because it's saying people will interact with 3D audio differently or hear it differently. So that was something I'd never really heard about until last night, and then hearing about it again with this PlayStation VR 2 must just be something kind of new, or it must be a feature that people like a lot. So yeah, if you want to pre-order that thing, you better go do it. I've never really bought I've never really thought about buying any type of VR seriously. I played one of them once, and it was a standalone headset that a friend had, and I thought it was cool. But my biggest hang-up is going to be just having to wear the thing, and it takes you out of the normal world. I don't think I've never really tried either, but I just can't see myself really being into wearing a headset and sitting there playing, and not being able to see my TV or my dog, or whatever's going on outside, or just whatever. But apparently the VR is just going to keep getting better and better and easier to use. So, but the other argument you hear is that the games aren't really there. Like, there's a fun few games to play, or more like they're kind of more tech demo-y, or kind of shorter experience things, or basically just showing off a feature. But I don't know. I heard some, this would be even talked about a lot on podcasts this week, and I heard someone mentioning that they believe, you hear the argument that this is the future, that this is going to be the way all games are played, and then you hear the other argument that that VR is going to always be like a niche thing. They were saying, does Nintendo need to get into to VR, compete in the market. And the person was arguing that, Nintendo probably sees it as too niche of a market, really. And whether or not that's right, that'll only be decided in the future. But I don't know. I guess you'd have to look at what the youth of the world are playing and what they're doing and how that's tracking. But I just don't have the VR itch yet. But it would certainly be cool to try one and play one. You hear the different styles. There's standalone ones. There's ones where you have to be connected to something. I believe there's some versions of headsets that are up to $1,500. So this $550 is kind of relative to that, if you think about it. So I know this thing will probably sell real well. I think it is a hard cut from the last VR too, so I don't think it's going to support any of the games from that. But don't quote me on that. But just something to check for if you're a virtual reality person. It'll be coming to you fairly soon, right after Christmas. Maybe save some of your holiday money, save some of your New Year's resolution money, start budgeting right at the beginning of the year, and boom, you got your VR. So I don't know. I probably need to research some VR headsets at some point, just to see what I would want to buy if I did. It'd just be cool to know. Since I'm a video gamer, it'd be nice to know the information of the video game world. And so those are the things I've been seeing this week. It's been really cool. I want to just go back over. I saw Nextlander playing Elden Ring. Once again, go follow the Nextlander guys. They do some really good work. We got Pentiment, which is that game by Obsidian. It comes out 11/15 for $19.99. Marvel Snap is another game. It's that collectible card game, a la Hearthstone, with some Marvel touches. With not Marvel touches, it is Marvel, but Marvel characters. That's free to play on Android, iOS, or Microsoft Windows, and you can go play that right now. And then you got the PlayStation. VR headset, which is available February 22nd, 2023. That thing will cost you $549. So you can say, hey, it's less than $550. Pretty cheap, pretty inexpensive, pretty easy to buy. Yeah, you got all the monies. If you got all the monies, you can buy it. And you got to pre-order though too, because you got to get them while they're hot. So that's what I've been seeing here on the Dep Lewis Show. We're going to take one final break, and then we're going to come back for our miscellaneous section. Today in the miscellaneous section, we're going to talk about some books. We're going to talk about some music. We're going to talk about some YouTube content, and we're going to talk some sports. So we'll be back in just a minute. Wrap up this to do our last section, and then wrap up the show. Welcome back to the final section of the Dep Lewis Show, episode 5. Thank you for joining us for the final section. We're here to talk about a few different things that's been going on that I think are cool, or things I want to let you know. And the first thing I want to let you know is an unbelievable, remarkable, outstanding, amazing thing that I did this week, and I finished a book. Hooray! The Dep Lewis Show can read. Dep Lewis Show does other things besides play video games. Finished a book. This book was called Dread God, and it's by Will White. Gosh. This is one where I thought this guy's name was Witt for the whole time I've known him. And then just recently I found out it's White. So, Will White, I'd like to apologize to you. I know you've never even heard me say this, but I know it's been affecting you, because I can just tell. I can just feel it out there. Mr. White, you're a great author. You write very fun books. I just finished the Dread God. It's the 11th book in the series and the most current release. And it was awesome. I want to do a formal ranking of these books in this series at some point. I kind of plan on doing that this week, but it is still too fresh. I need to think about it some more, and I need to dedicate some time to creating a good conversation and discussion about these books and a good ranking, so I'll bring that to you at some point. But I just want to let you know that I really do like this series a whole lot. It's the Cradle series. So Cradle right now has 11 books in there. There's a 12th book coming next year. It's going to be called Waybound. We don't have a release date for this yet, but it should be released in 2023. I believe Will said he was taking a little extra time to write this one, so it might not be earlier in the year. But just so you know more about this Cradle series, it's about a character called Wei Shay Linden, who was born a week unsold. He is forbidden to seek power as a sacred artist do. However, he is faced with the looming fate that he must defy his family's rules. The Cradle series follows his journey as he forges a path for himself. It is noted for its similarity to anime and its fast-paced action. So I would agree with that. My friend who got me turned on to this series, and I both agree that it has some pretty good DBZ, Dragon Ball Z comparisons, for the series style overall. So if you're liking Dragon Ball Z and you like to read, this can be a good series for you. It's very quick, not quick. The books are around probably 400 pages a piece, maybe. Just trying to guess an average. So they'll take you some hours to finish, but they're a real fun read. Nothing too serious here of like subject matter. It's just kind of a fun thing. It's about Lyndon trying to prove people wrong, try to be the best he can be, and it's about him trying to always become better and rank up his powers, and he has his friends, and he's out there fighting, and there's things trying to destroy the world. It's just really cool, and I'm happy I finished it. I basically got turned on to the series when most of the books have already been written, so it was basically like, hey, here's an immediate backlog of 10 books or whatever to start reading, and I was trying to be caught up by Dread God. It got released in July of 2022, but I was not caught up, so I just finished it this week. There's no slight on the books. It might just be more of my reading style, but these books are awesome. So shout out to Will White. He'll always probably be Will Witt in my heart, but either way, I recommend him. You should go read those books. A lot of times, which is really cool, and the first few books in this series I got for free. So Will White will notify you that sometimes these things are free to download on Amazon. And he also has other series besides Cradle, but it seems like that one's the most popular and the main one I was recommended, and kind of the only one I have plans on for being a part of right now. But I do have some of his other books that I've just downloaded for free because they were free. So you should follow him on his pages on Twitter or whatever, on his website, for those announcements, because getting his books for free is really cool. They have Kindle versions, which are inexpensive, and then he also has physical versions you can buy too for his books, and none of them are breaking the bank too bad. And it's nice to support a cool author. So go check those books out. I'm really happy I finished that this week. Something else that came out this week is the Drake and 21 Savage album. That album called Her Loss. The Dep Lewis Show really is into rap music a lot. It's the Dep Lewis Show official genre is the rap, or the hippity hop, the hop to the hips. And this album came out Friday, so November 4th. It's 16 hours long, and they're giving us an hour of music. This, I brought up earlier in the show about this a joint album called What a Time to Be Alive. Had 0 features. I'm here to tell you that the Drake and 21 Savage collab album Her Loss has one other feature, and that feature is Travis Scott. So shout out to Travis Scott. He jumped on this thing. He's making history. Drake's usually not allowing a feature on his collab albums, but this one he's doing it. I haven't listened to all the songs on this album yet, but there's been a few that I've already liked early on that I'm hitting on the replay on. So a lot of times when I'm really liking an album, it'll take me a little while to get through it, because I'll find songs that I like and I'll just kind of continue playing those and then expanding out further and further. So the intro track on this album is very, 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 very hard, called Rich Flex. And that's the one that is all over TikTok of, they're calling Drake sassy at the beginning, where he's going, 21, can you do something for me? Can you do something for me? Do your thing, 21, do your thing, 21. And then 21 comes in and kills his opening verse about slapping people out with a racket. And then the beat changes in the middle of that song, and that second beat is insane. That should be a whole song. I think it's pretty cool that they threw it in the song at the switch part. It's crazy that beat's just not like a throwaway because it's doing its thing on the song, but they're giving you a tease of it. But that second beat on that song where Drake comes in is insane, and Drake's talking about that Slaughter Gang shit and the Murder Gang shit. So he's copying some old Savage Mode stuff from 21, and then Drake's his first lines are a flip of T.I.'s 24. So that song is really, really cool. I've been listening to that one a lot. I really like that second part. That second beat where Drake comes in is just super energetic. That beat is insane, and it'll really, really hype you up. So it's very cool. And I'm a big 21 Savage fan, probably more so than Drake. Just so you know that about this, but I do like Drake. There's a song called Spin 'Bout You. I feel like this song would be like the radio smash so far that I've heard, or the most popular song. So I do like this song. This one feels like it has some mass appeal out there, like they could have a hit on their hands. And then a couple of early favorites that I've been noting that I like are a song called Treacherous Twins and More M's. And More M's is pretty cool. It's It's kind of like a simple hook by 21 Savage, but it's very catchy, and I really like that. So I'm still listening to this album. It seems like it's doing really well. I like Drake's last album. That honestly, Nevermind, I thought was good. But people were saying that Drake was coming back with a vengeance with this, or he has come back with a vengeance with this. So it seems like people are pretty high on this. Some of the 21 Savage and Drake content has been funny to see. They were teasing doing a Tiny Desk concert, which I thought was weird, that they were teasing it and not actually doing it. I don't know. I guess their Tiny Desk concert, I guess, would be bad, is what we're saying with this. But when I saw it came up, I was interested. I would watch it. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever see it or what the thinking was behind that, or if they were just kind of having fun. But they were kind of having fun making fun of themselves. But I guess it was just a promotion thing. But I guess it was good promotion since I'm talking about it. But go check out their album. Not that you probably haven't heard about it, but it sounded really good. Another thing that you may not have heard about that I'm really into is the short clips on Giannis Pappas' YouTube that he's been posting of the Bay Ridge Boys. This is Giannis Pappas and Chris Stefano. It seems like they're making these shorts, and they're around 4 minutes or so. And your boy Giannis and Chris are doing some acting here, so they got some acting chops, and it's funny. They're doing their comedic acting. You always hear that comedy is not so prevalent anymore in the acting space, or it's harder to see good comedy, and they're showing you their chops here, and it's really, really cool. Their most recent episode they dropped this week is titled Muzzy Cuzzy, and they're trying to seek out the answer to the eternal question to gel up or not to gel up your hair. So basically, in the premise of this is Giannis, I forget, he's going through some girl trouble, and Chris is like, well, dude, you never gelled your hair, you look terrible. And he's like, how long have you been thinking this in your head? And Chris is like, oh, for years, man. We all think about it. We're like, his hair's fucked up. But this is just funny. They're these two guys, they're representing just normal guys around the places where they grew up. So it's kind of going on those tropes. One of them, Giannis, has to go get a colonoscopy. He's scared to do it, and Chris eventually says he'll go with him because they're friends or whatever. So it's just funny. It's goofy. They're very short and lighthearted, but they're kind of high quality too. It's it's just something that's cool to see. We got Gillian Keeves out there doing their high production, but it's just interesting. It's interesting. I'm not going to say, it is kind of new. I'm not seeing a lot of comedians doing this. But another interesting part of this, Chris and Giannis used to host a podcast together called The History Hyenas. That was really successful, and they broke up, and people wondered why and thought they had beef. And then now you see them back together, making some content, and it's pretty cool. So you should go check out the Bay Ridge Boys, especially if you like Chris or Yanni. Those are only on Giannis's page right now. And I believe there's maybe 4 of them. Could be more than that out there on his page. They're not titled by episode numbers or anything, so they're just kind of releasing them as little shorts. So go watch those. They're really funny, and I really like those guys. So shout out to the Bay Ridge Boys. All right, the last little bit, we're going to take it home with some sports talk. I want to shout out the official NFL team of the Dep Lewis Show, the Carolina Panthers, for not making any more trades at the deadline. Thank you. Thank you, Scott Fitterer. Thank you, Big David Tepper. Thank you, Steve Wilkes, for doing what you're doing. Panthers are starting P.J. Walker again this week. Glad to hear it. I'm glad that DJ Moore can move on from all his shit last week of taking his helmet off. He makes that amazing catch, thinks the game's over. Eddie Pinheiro misses that kick. Eddie Pinheiro misses the next kick. It was heartbreaking. It was terrible. Panthers need to move on. There's no more victories in football. And they got to make those damn kicks. They can't make the mistake with the helmet. And other than that, the Panthers are looking great next week, or great last week. It was fun to watch. That game had a bunch of lead changes. Panthers were putting up points. P.J. Walker was slinging the rock. My boy DJ Moore was doing his thing. And it was fun to watch. So I hope that they'll be fun to watch today. They play the Bengals at 1 o'clock today. No Jamar Chase for the Bengals, which is sad because I like Jamar Chase, but it's good for the Panthers because that man's a beast. The Bengals are 4-4 going into this game, and the Panthers are 2-6 going into this game. So the Panthers really need to string some wins together. They got Atlanta next week, which is a division game. So the Panthers really need to get a win against the Bengals today. I think it'd be pretty crucial for their momentum, and I think they can do it. So we'll see. They play at 1 o'clock today. And the last thing I heard was I just saw a headline last night when I was searching the Panthers that ESPN determined that the Panthers won the CMC trade. So that's just making Panthers fans feel good because we miss that man. So that article, I didn't even read it because it doesn't really matter to me, but the article is probably like, talking about the value of the assets traded for CMC actually turn out better for the Panthers in the long run, or what, blah 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 blah. But whatever. It was nice to see something where it said 1 next to the Panthers, so that's why I'm highlighting that. And then the last thing is the Atlanta Hawks, the official NBA team of the Dep Lewis Show. They lost to Toronto Monday. They beat the Knicks in the Garden on Wednesday. They beat the Pelicans last night in overtime. Oh, I didn't watch any of that, but I saw the score, and that's pretty awesome. And this upcoming week, the Hawks got a road game against the Bucks, which I watched some of Giannis the other night. And Giannis is unstoppable. He is the best player in the league. He's healthy, and if the pieces around him are healthy, that team is championship contender. You got Ice Middleton out there. Giannis just handling the ball and getting to the rim, and his size and impact on the floor is insane. So shout out to the Greek Freak. You're really pretty scary out there as an athlete and a basketball player. I think he gets a lot of appreciation, but I don't think people could appreciate him enough. So the Hawks got to go see him up in his arena on Monday, and then the Hawks got another road game on Wednesday against the Jazz, which that should be a dub. And then road game against Philly on Thursday, which should be a pretty good battle. And then end the week with a home game against Philly on Saturday. So the Hawks got to go be some road dogs out there and get some dubs, and then come home for this weekend to play a familiar opponent in Philly, who Philly I think has kind of been slumping out the gate, or not living up to their expectations with their roster they have going on. So shout out to my sports teams. Shout out to the Dep Lewis Show sports teams. The baseball season is officially over, which is very sad. The Houston Astros beat the Phillies last night in the World Series. The Dep Lewis Show does not condone this. They do not approve this message. The Dep Lewis Show is going to be in a state of mourning until March, until the Atlanta Braves season starts. And it's going to be a long winter without the baseballs. It's very sad. But baseball will be back next year. Shout out to the season. Shout out to the Braves. Love you, baseball. It was a great season, but we got some other sports going on. Got the World Cup starting soon. Got the football about their midway. We got a lot of NBA left. And it's a great time to be a sports fan. So that's going to end it for the show today, people. Thank you for being here as always. This was a great episode. I can't believe we've done 5 of these things now. I want to go back to my intro talk and tell you some things to do. I want to be your boss. I want to be the boss of you. I want to make you feel like after you listen to this, you got some homework to do, that you have some action items, as they would call in the corporate world. You need to take these things and you need to complete these things. You need to follow the Dep Lewis Show everywhere. You need to like, you need to subscribe, you need to rate, you need to review, you need to turn on notifications, you need to tell a friend. That's 6 things. Like, subscribe, rate, review, turn on notifications, and tell a friend. Follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. And if you have any questions or any feedback or anything you want me to know, email the DepLewisShow@gmail.com. That email box is open 24 hours a day. It's receiving emails. It's coming in. The words are getting typed. Type them on the page. Send that bitch. Comes to my screen. I see your words. I get offended. I get excited. I get some content to talk about. I get a question from you. I answer your question with my expert opinions. I answer your questions with my stupidity. So that's how it goes. So thank you for listening to this podcast, for supporting the Dep Lewis Show. You're the best. You will always be the best. I'm sorry for the rain. I'm sorry for the car noise in the background, that one guy revving his engine out there. But we'll be back next week for another episode. Have a great week, and we'll see ya. Peace.